Scott Shanle, welcome to the show. He's now a Super Bowl champion with the Saints, a 10-year vet of the National Football League, and now he breaks down the game as no one else can right here on Yurview. Scott, thanks for joining us here on Main Street Living.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on. Exciting time of year. Hope springs eternal. Everybody believes they can win the Super Bowl this time of year.
Yeah, especially when you're a Cowboys fan. It's our year.
Does everybody really believe it, Scott? Everybody?
No. Every year, there's 6 to 8 teams, I truly believe. They have the combination of coach, quarterback, and overall team chemistry to do it. But this is what the draft is all about. This is why you saw all those people standing out there waiting to hear a draft pick, because everybody believes it's just a couple of college kids who can turn your program around. And the Detroit Lions were proof of that. It was great to have the draft in Detroit because they hired the right coach. They traded for a quarterback who'd been to a Super Bowl before, and they were close to getting to another Super Bowl. So that's the great thing about the NFL is everybody has a chance to rebuild their team every year.
Oh, for sure. Now, Scott, I have to start off now. We were just talking about at the top of the show, athletes that are following their dreams, making their dreams come true. But you were an athlete that was a part of draft night. Can you kind of take us through what that feeling was, man?
Yeah, so going into the draft, I was pegged as a mid-round pick, and I'd been to all-star games, and there were guys I competed with I saw go off the draft board way before me. And as a competitor, you're sitting there like, gosh, I know I'm better than that guy, but time will tell. I ended up waiting till the 7th round. I was close to being undrafted, and I'll never forget, I was sitting in my apartment in Lincoln, Nebraska, and got that call from head coach Mike Martz from the St. Louis Rams, who were just 2 years removed from winning a Super Bowl. So I knew I was going to a really good organization with really good players. And that rookie year, even though it didn't work out for me, I had a lot of injuries. I ended up getting waived and going to the Dallas Cowboys. Going to an organization like that showed me how to play. Like being a part of a championship organization with players like Marshall Faulk and Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and all these great players, I proved myself early on that I could play at that level. It was a big step for me, but I'm forever grateful that the St. Louis Rams took a chance on me.
Awesome.
Wasn't really that hard of a chance. You ended up playing in the NFL for 10 years. And that's why it's so hard when you analyze the draft, because really the potential doesn't always come out right away. But if we're going to look at the 2024 draft, let's talk Saints, especially those first 2 rounds, drafting an O lineman in the first round and then a defensive back. That's right. Named Kool-Aid in the second round. What do you think about the Saints?
I really thought the Saints had a great draft pick. And everybody knew draft class. I think going into the draft, everybody knew you had to address the offensive line position. Ramczyk, unfortunately, may have to retire because of a knee injury. Trevor Penning, you drafted 2 years ago, just hasn't quite worked out as your premier left or right tackle. So you have to have a tackle. You have preferably 2 of them, but you had to get one. And I think Fuaga out of Oregon State, you look at his career, and he started a ton of games. He's very experienced. Last year, over 700 snaps and didn't give up a snap. He's got great size and footwork for a guy his size. So I definitely think they hit on a need. And then I think you also hit on a need in Kool-Aid McKinstry. You have a DB with a nickname Kool-Aid or the name Kool-Aid. That's going to be fantastic covering that all year, right? But anytime you can get a quality defensive player like that high, I think Kool-Aid was probably listed on first round evaluations on a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. So I think the value there, the Saints hit perfect on that. You can never have enough guys who can cover, especially in the defense that the Saints like to play.
Oh yeah. And although you guys had some quarterbacks, you also took a quarterback, right? Spencer, I believe Rattler, obviously no stranger to Yurview Game Time fans. He was on the radar in Phoenix in high school and his high school days and stuff. But like, talk about the issues, because these, certainly talent has never been an issue for the top QB prospect in the 2019 class.
No, I think this is one of the most intriguing picks of the draft, and there's a lot of people excited. Anytime you draft a quarterback, everybody thinks maybe they can become that Dak Prescott, that 4th round pick who becomes your starter. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of people said this was the steal of the draft. Spencer Rattler, he was one of the highest, if not the number 1 rated overall high school prospect coming out, went to Oklahoma, didn't quite work out there, went to South Carolina, had a good year last year. So there's a lot of upside. You constantly hear that word in the draft is upside. Everybody wants to see if they can get the best out of the players. You were the number 1 overall recruit at one time for a reason. So maybe somebody hasn't untapped that potential yet. So anytime you can draft a player like that, especially where they did, I think you're not giving up a whole lot and the returns could be big.
It could be big returns. I mean, the thing that happened in Oklahoma was called Caleb Williams. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
He becomes the number 1 draft in a quarterback heavy, 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. What do you, when you look at that, and you analyze the tape on these quarterbacks, which one is in the best position to succeed next year and down the line?
I really think it's Caleb Williams. First of all, I think Caleb Williams is by far the best quarterback in the draft. So anytime you have that talent level, you combine it with what the Bears did in the offseason. They put together some good defensive players. They gave him some good wide receivers. They've addressed the offensive line position over the last couple of years. And I know the Bears haven't had a whole lot of success, but I'm saying Caleb Williams because I truly believe he was head and shoulders the best quarterback in this draft. There were 6 quarterbacks taken. There will probably be 2 of those guys left on their team in 2 to 3 years. That's just the nature of the business and how it usually works out. Everybody reaches for quarterbacks because, like I said, hope springs eternal. With a quarterback, you either give a team and a fan base hope or despair. And if you don't have a quarterback going into the offseason, you're not going to get people to buy your shirts. You're not going to get people to buy tickets. So quarterback position always brings hope to every fan base and every organization. And that's why you see those guys go that high. But I think Caleb Williams is really going to be an outstanding player in this draft.
Man, you just hit the nail on the coffin with the nail on the head, because when it comes to quarterbacks that can change your franchise, Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, right? And I know that there's a piece that's actually that he needed to help improve the offense. We're talking about Xavier Worthy from the University of Texas, and you are a speed guy from Texas. So, I mean, he ran a 4.21
yes
dash. What?
Yes.
They don't need Tyreek Hill. Who misses Tyreek Hill? Right?
Yeah, I felt like this pick didn't get enough attention nationally when it came to the media, because when I looked at the first round and the top 2 rounds of the draft, I felt like this was a pick that made the most sense.
Right, and keep in mind, they're going for a historic 3-peat, so they're doing everything that they can to ensure that they can go for that 3-peat in the Super Bowl. So, congrats, KC.
Yeah, and you got to say, Buffalo. Did you just trade to Kansas City?
No.
What were they thinking? I don't want to even get into that analysis. Let's talk about the other side of the ball. Scott, where's the D, man? Everything was offense in that first round. Where is the D?
I made the joke during the draft, like, okay, they banned the hip drop tackle. Or are they basically telling defensive players, we no longer need you guys anymore? We're going to eliminate the way you can tackle anyway, so we're going to ban everything. We're just going to take offensive players. But I think that's the nature of the game. It's about scoring points, especially the way when you look at the rule changes over the last 5 to 10 years. If you can't score points, there's something wrong. So everybody's going for guys who can protect those franchise quarterbacks and for guys who can get those franchise quarterbacks open and deep balls, like we talked about with Kansas City Chiefs. So defensive players, there is definitely value in guys who can rush the passer and cover receivers. But for whatever reason, just the way that the draft board worked out this year, everybody kind of panics. Once a lot of players start going at a certain position, everybody else has to panic and start reaching for players. And I think that's kind of what happened.
Wow. Well, we certainly do appreciate you, man, for stopping by, breaking things down for us. We love you here on the Yurview Network, man. And, the football season is starting, and I have a rule. I don't think about what the Cowboys are going to do or disappoint me at not doing until until game 1 of the new season. So I'm done.
Yeah, but you'll be great during the regular season. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
All right. We'll talk to you before the season starts.